All right, y'all, check this out. One of the biggest things that I try to convey or teach people in the hashtag glute doping program is the idea of how to hinge at the hips like a door hinge. You got to have this hinge, you go, woohoo! Because when you're riding the bike, you're always in a flexed over position, but you need to still have access to the glute for all the reasons. Power, stability, control. So one of the exercises in the glute doping program is called tall kneel hip thrusters. But we're going to show you how to do that, practicing the hip hinge, but add some AXIO spice because that perturbation challenge allows your brain to better access and control the core, low back, and glute coordination you need to do a tall kneel hip thruster. So here's the setup. Obviously, put on your glute doper band and you get into the tall kneel position. What's tall kneel? This. Now you know, you speak the language. The tall kneel position, when we're looking at the hip joint, which is this joint, you're in full extension. Full extension would be like here, but we're going to start straight. And then hinging at the hip is keeping your torso and your chest up, like you got a balloon holding you up. So as you sit your butt back, this hip joint is the axis of rotation. So you see that nice, clean hip hinge? You can't do this well. A lot of people, they'll like round the back and they'll just fall forward and collapse into like oblivion. We don't want that. So to get started, drive your knees into the ground, spread them apart like you're trying to rip the earth in half. That's why the band is here. It gives you a little bit of cue for this lateral part of the glute because you're fighting the band ripping the earth in half. That glute is like, ooh, I got to work. So first start off by seeing if you can hinge at the hip, really leaning over as far as you can. This replicates riding in the drop bars on the road bike, getting real low and arrow if you're trying to ride in the dirt, trying to get some speed. Can you go all the way back up? And can you feel and control the glute activation or feel them doing work to support you on the way down? You can control this, you don't fall over, and then driving and scooping on the way up. You can even bring your cowboy belt buckle up to your chest a little bit more in what's called a posterior pelvic tilt to get a little bit more of that glute driving up. Now here comes the AXIO spice. So remember in the AXIO, there's a nice weighted metal ball that can kind of move back and forth. You're doing the lower level version, or which I recommend you get to, do the full circle version. So you make the ball go back and forth, and then you woo, get it going, and it's spinning in here. While it's spinning, the thing wants to shake all over the place. You add this out forward, like as if you're driving a race car steering wheel. Get your Lewis Hamilton on, get right here. Get that thing moving. I'm gonna go this way. And now while you keep that ball going in circles, you wanna hinge at the hips down and then hinge and drive all the way back up tall, scooping that pelvis the whole time, getting a little bit of posterior pelvic tilt, and doing your best to not stop the ball from rotating through here. Whew! That's what I've got for you right now. But I encourage you to try to build it, doing it for a whole minute of smoothly sitting back and driving back up. While you're trying to control this, it challenges your brain to control the hip stability and the core stability together so that all of this results in better stability when you're seated and can control power on the bike, whether it's on the road and you're dealing with a crosswind, you're trying to put a lot of power down and you're in a group of people, or especially if you're riding in the dirt and you don't have a lot of traction in the rear wheel where you're mountain biking, riding the gravel bike, whatever, you can use a lot of this control to lean back, drive from the hips, push that butt into the saddle and keep the power down so you can keep going. Let's get it, y'all. Grip it and rip it.